From here on out, you're going to stop saying no to your clients.
Let's get into it.
I want to preface this video with, this is not holier than thou. High value services. I've been selling them for 2 decades and I still say no to my clients. So I wanted to share some lessons from a couple of my clients about saying no. One of the ways we say no before someone even becomes a client is around our price. We will reduce the price before we ever hear no from a prospect. The prospect doesn't even know what the price is yet, and we start lowering it because we don't think they're going to say yes. So we lower it, and then if they say yes, well, all we did was get a lower price, and we have no idea if they would have paid a higher price. If they say no, we can negotiate. I've got a whole video on pricing. It's linked here or down in the description below. Go check that out. Another way we say no before we even have them as a client is to not even offer particular services because we don't think they'll buy it. We'll say no for them. But remember, hearing a no from a prospect is not the end of the discussion. It's simply a matter of negotiation. They may not be ready to use that particular service. They may not be ready to pay you that amount of money. But if you negotiate, you come to terms, you may find that they become a great client. It might take you years of business development before they go from being, I don't know about your pricing and stuff, to avid supporters of what you do. So this is something that you've got to get ingrained into yourself. You've got to stop saying no for your prospects. But now let's get into the meat of this video, which is saying no to your clients. Let me share a couple of examples from 2 of my clients. So in the first example I want to share with you, my client builds websites for his clients. One of the issues that he was having was that it was taking months to complete the website. So how was he saying no to his clients? It seems like the client was the one doing all the saying of no because they weren't delivering the assets necessary for my client to complete the websites for his clients. That sounds reasonable. It's actually super common. Many people have the same issue, that the client is supposed to deliver content that could be pictures, videos, or a written copy of any sort, could be blog posts, the works, right? They're supposed to deliver this, and the designer is just designing the website. But that's not what the client actually wants. The client does not want to do any of that work. Most web designers skip the content and just complain about their clients, saying that they're just not delivering it to them. Let's reframe that. How is it that the web designer is saying no to the client? They're saying no for the client because they're not creating the content for the client. They don't even make that offer. Hey, how about we shoot the videos? How about we do the photographs? What if we do all the words that are going to be in this? We're going to design not just the look of the site, but everything in it. Well, my client won't pay for all that stuff. Well, they have to be paying for it in some way, either with their time or they're going to pay someone else to do those things. You can project manage it. You don't have to be a photographer. You don't have to be a copywriter. You don't have to be a videographer. You can contract that out and deliver that for your client. This way, you can say yes for your client. You can provide those things so that it doesn't delay the project, and then you're going to have a far happier client. But what's amazing is my particular client, I had him do this. What I told him to do, he had this crazy automated system where it was to keep following up with his clients to try to get them to deliver the content that he needed. So we did a simple process change. Everybody just gets on a call and they provide the assets necessary for the new site at the beginning of the project. So my client didn't even start writing content or creating videos or any of that stuff. He didn't even do that. All he simply did was change his procedure so that it made it easier for the client to deliver the assets. Because he was saying no for the client. He was saying, no, they're not going to give me the assets right at the beginning of this project. We changed the procedure, and this immediately gave him a 25% increase in his revenue because it decreased the amount of time between the start of a project and the end of the project, allowing him to grow, having him the capacity to have more clients because he wasn't sitting around, everybody's sitting around waiting and doing a bunch of follow-up and having this horrendous effort. But it also got him paid on his renewals, annual renewals from these clients faster. So that would bring money in sooner. So his business started growing rapidly. So in this next example, and this was actually a couple of different clients that I had, they were doing digital marketing services and they built the websites for their clients. What they were doing was they were waiting to start doing marketing for their clients until the website that they were building for the client was done. This was an arbitrary way of proceeding. It was just a policy, it was a procedure. And how did it form? It's because my client was too scared to say to his clients that this is our procedure. We start building your website and we start marketing immediately. Procedure change. By separating them out as two different projects happening simultaneously, he went from taking a website that could take up to 2 months or more, especially with delays from the client and all that stuff, and letting that project sit individually and going right into doing the marketing, the digital marketing services that they were selling. They did that immediately. So there was no delay because their digital marketing services were the recurring service, the thing that they were going to actually make all their profit on. So this website was not the thing delaying everything else. It was simply just separating it. And that immediately boosted their revenues. So instead of waiting 2 months to start rebilling, they were able to start billing right then and there. That is powerful ways of making more money by being just a better servant to your client. Every time you say no for the client, then they're getting inferior service from you. I want you to start saying yes for your client. Let your client tell you no, and then you can renegotiate. Don't be afraid to hear no. I got one more example for you, bonus example. I just did this with a client, and it added $30,000 a month recurring on into the future by changing a policy. And it's very similar to the website one where the website and the marketing were connected, and we just split them apart into two projects and started making more money. Well, this one, there's no website being made. It was another policy. It was just a procedure that my client had that they said no to the client and forgot to ever revisit. So the issue was that when they were doing their marketing setup, there's a beginning that needs to get done. And the client is just delaying it. They're not delivering assets. They're not participating. What I had them do was change their procedure. We implemented a policy, and it goes into all their new contracts. Every new client, when they sign their contract, will see that the billing starts day one. 30 days later, they get billed again. 30 days later, they get billed again. What was happening was the average client going from the time they signed up to the time that they got their next billing was on average 2 months, all due to delays from the client. Nothing to do with the actual work being done by my client. So what we did was put in a new clause inside the contract that is a penalty. If the client does not do their side of the agreement, they get penalized. The penalty being they get charged for the personnel, the work being done by my client, all the work that their team is doing, all the digital marketing that's being done and prepared. It's still happening. Resources are being expended for this client. If the client slows down the actual work by my client, it's not my client's fault. But my client still has to pay for all those people. They've allocated these resources, and those resources cost money. So what we've done is we've put in essentially a penalty by changing the contract to say, if you don't deliver, we still bill. The words are a little different than that, but that's the basics. If you don't deliver your side of the agreement, we still bill because we are still doing work. We may not have marketing going out right then and there, but we are still working to make your account successful. And this one change added $30,000 every single month by shortening the gap between the start date and the next billing cycle. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start going through your business and look for all the places where you've said no to your clients, where you have been the one who said, we're going to do this particular policy, we're going to do this particular procedure. The first places to look are the places that are costing you a lot of money. Are you starting and then not being able to bill again until much later? Well, either put in a penalty where the client is then incentivized to uphold their side of the agreement, or you can offer a service that takes away the responsibility from the client. Have them pay you to do the assets that they need to deliver. Have them pay you to do a lot of the things that are causing delays in your business right now. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go through your business and find out where you have already said no. The first place to start is any place that a project is getting delayed. Why is it getting delayed? If it's being delayed by the client, then you probably said no to them. That could be your client needing to deliver assets. That could be needing approvals from your client. It could be any sort of reason why the client is delaying or causing delays in some way, and it's preventing you from getting paid. What we want to do is change the no that we said to them and give them the opportunity to say yes. We want them to either say yes or say no to us. And that means we can say, well, we'll do those assets for you. We'll do the video for you. We'll do the pictures for you. We will do the copy for you. Or you can put in an incentive for your client to uphold their side of the agreement by putting in a clause in the contract, highlighting it, saying, hey, we will be billing you the whole time. So it's up to you to make sure that you deliver what we need, and we will remind you over and over and over again, but you still have to deliver it. And we will continue to bill because we'll still be working on your account. Small policy changes can turn these no's, that can turn these delays, can turn this lower amount of money that you're earning into a very profitable business if you give your client the ability to say yes to you instead of you saying no. Thanks for watching. Hit me up in the comments, like, share, do the socials, and I'll see you in the next video.